The Windfall Elimination Provision. What is it? Should you be concerned? I get a lot of questions on WEP. And so we're going to dive right into that here today because I actually think it's important. Something I've been meaning to do for a long time, I've yet to do. So don't forget to subscribe down below, thumbs up, comments, and share the video as well. So we're starting, as always, with just straight from the horse's mouth, Social Security. So for resources, socialsecurity.gov. First, you guys start there. First and foremost is socialsecurity.gov. Everything should start there. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff. And I'll put links in the show notes. My man, Devin Carroll, I guess it's just Devin Carroll through his website, YouTube channel. Go there as well. Both are wonderful resources for everything and anything Social Security related. So the Windfall Elimination Provision is simple. You might have been covered by working for a county, working for the CSRS, might have been working for some entity that was teachers, a lot of teachers, as a matter of fact, in Texas, some counties in Texas, they weren't paying into Social Security. So they get their Social Security statement and it would say they're getting $1,000 a month, but in fact, they weren't paying into the system. They were not covered by Social Security. Thus, that $1,000 a month is completely misleading because you can't get money out if you haven't paid into it, is essentially what the Social Security Administration is saying, and right on. So they're saying, look, we're going to reduce your amount of your benefit, your Social Security benefit, by a certain threshold because of the Windfall Elimination Provision. And so here it says you may be eligible for retirement or disability pension from someplace else, again, usually county government, the teacher's retirement system, where earnings were not covered by Social Security. How do you know if earnings weren't covered? Because you didn't pay 6.2%. So remember, FICA is 7.65, of which 6.2% is your Social Security, OASDI, all right? Old age social disability insurance, I think. I can't remember what I think, old age social disability insurance. That's 6.2%, and the rest is from Medicare. And so if you weren't having that 6.2% taken out, you weren't paying into the system, and inherently you shouldn't get money from those earnings that you weren't paying into the system for. A pension based on earnings not covered by Social Security can affect the amount of your benefit. We do not know whether you're eligible for such a pension. And so the benefit estimates you have received, so the benefit estimates you have received may not have been adjusted for such a possibility. I could not agree with that. They don't know. They're saying, look, you had earnings income of $110,000. That's what we're assuming was taxed according to the OASDI, FICA, part of the FICA, and we're going to adjust it accordingly if we find out that that was not because of the Windfall Elimination Provision. If you think your pension will affect your Social Security benefit, you can look at our WEP chart, which will go here in just a second, and see how the WEP affects Social Security benefits. You can use our WEP online calculator or download our detailed calculator to see how your benefit may be reduced. The Windfall Elimination Provision reduces your eligibility year benefit amount before it is reduced or increased due to early retirement, delayed retirement credits, and cost of living adjustments. I got to repeat that. I learned this from Devin Carroll's stuff. Actually, he did a pretty good video on this a long time ago. The WEP is reduced or increased. The WEP reduces your eligibility year benefit before it is reduced or increased due to reduction earnings because reduction benefits because you took it early, your delayed retirement credits, or COLAs. The following examples show how WEP reduction changes when your eligibility year benefit is affected by other factors. Retirement examples. The monthly retirement benefits are increased based on your age after WEP reduces your eligibility year benefit. If you turn 62 in 2016, that is your eligibility year. The year you turn 62 is your eligibility year. They call it ELY here. And you have 20 years of substantial earnings, WEP reduces your monthly benefit by $428. But your full retirement age is 66. If your full retirement benefit is $1,396, after the WEP reduction, it'll only be $968. But so remember, the WEP is reducing it by $428. That's on your earliest year of eligibility. That's 62 years old. Your full retirement benefit is $1,396, but they're going to reduce it by that $428. And so you're after the WEP reduction at your full retirement age, your benefit would be $968. But if you start taking benefits early before you turn 62, you'll get benefits before you reach your full retirement age, and they're saying it'll be reduced to 75%. It depends on what year you're born, but just for the simplicity, Your age 62 benefit is $968, then reduced by the early reduction. Does that make sense? So it's not 25% off of $13.96. They're reducing your WEP first, and then they're reducing it by your early reduction. All right. And the same thing is going to happen on delayed earnings credits. They'll say, hey, your eligibility year is still 2016. If your retirement benefits start after 66, you get the delayed earnings credits, 8% a year. Your retirement benefit then is $1,277 because, again, your benefit is actually $968 at your full retirement age because the WEP is included in that. So your WEP is $968, and that will be growing at 8% a year. And that's the big deal. So they're saying, look, you're getting a statement back. It says $1,396 is your benefit. No, you got to factor in your earliest eligibility year, your eligibility year when you turn 62. In this case, you have 20 years of substantial earnings. That's it. You turn 62 in 2016. We're going to reduce your benefit from $1,396, which is what we're showing on your statement, by $428. That amount right there will be used now. That'll be your full retirement age benefit, your PIA, if you will. That will be what we're using to calculate your delayed benefits if you have delayed earnings credits, or your reduced benefits if you take it earlier. Hope that makes sense. So let's go down this table here. 20 years of substantial earnings, your benefits reduced by $428 if your earliest year is 2016. So let's go down this. Where is the chart here? Hold on just a second. They had the chart right there. Chart right here. Okay, so remember, was it four? So we're going to scroll down here, right here. Okay, so 2016, right here, in less than 20, in 20 or 20 years or less of earnings, substantial earnings, what they call it. So now we go down here. So here's 2016 was when we turned 62. We had 20 years or less of eligible earnings, substantial earnings, and we'll talk about substantial earnings here in just a second. We'll have a reduction of $428. What if we turn 62 in 2016, but we had 30 years of substantial earnings? We have no reduction, all right, because we paid in the system. We paid, so we get all of our benefits. We get our top 35 years of earnings that was paid for. What if we have 25 years of substantial earnings in 2016 is when we turn 62? Our benefit will be reduced by, what's that, 60, right there, 25. Our benefit would be reduced by $214. So, I mean, literally, the max in this case, the max you can lose if your eligibility year is 2018 and you have 20 or less years of substantial earnings, the max you can lose is $447. So it's big, but it's not ginormous big. It's just not. And if you work an extra year, you'll reduce it by 402. If you work another year, you reduce it by 358. This would be the one time that working X more years will actually add to your Social Security benefit substantially, because every year of substantial earnings will reduce the amount of reduction of your benefit will be according to WEP. I hope that makes sense. So that's a pretty big deal. So 2018, I got 25 years of substantial earnings. My benefits reduced by $223. If I work an extra year, I'll get my benefit reduced by $179, $134, $89, $44. I might actually do a separate video on that alone, because that would be pretty important to know. All right, so let's look at the Windfall Elimination Provision. This is the fact sheet from Social Security here, because I do want to show, they show the right here, substantial earnings. So I want to talk about that. I guess I'm not going to show it. Okay, so PDF, so you don't see my mug. All right, so let's talk about substantial earnings. All right, so why do they do this? Before 1983, people whose primary job wasn't covered by Social Security had their Social Security benefits calculated as if they were long-term low-wage workers. They had the advantage of receiving a Social Security benefit representing a higher percentage of their earnings plus a pension from a job which they didn't pay Social Security taxes. Congress passed a Windfall Elimination Provision to remove that advantage, which, I mean, again, just makes sense. You didn't pay taxes into it. You shouldn't get the benefit from it. Under the provision, we reduced the 90% factor in our formula and phase it in for workers who reached age 82, become disabled, blah, 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 from 1980. Okay. For people who reached 62 or became disabled in 1990 or later, we reduced the 90% factor to as little as 40%. So example, let's see, we already talked about PIA. I'm not going to get into that right here. But anyway, Social Security years, this is what I want to talk about. If you have 30 years or more of substantial earnings, we don't reduce the standard 90% factor in our formula. See the first table that lists substantial earnings for the year. The second table shows the percentage used to reduce the 90% factor depending on the number of substantial years of earnings you have. If you have 21 to 29 years of substantial earnings, we reduce the 90% factor to between 45 and 85%. All right, so basically what they're saying is here, and here we got, this is what they're talking about. At the end of the day, here's your substantial earnings going all the way. So this is what the substantial earnings are right there. It's not much. I mean, you're talking low wage worker. So in 2019, $24,675 of substantial earnings. That's what it is. Not a huge amount. So going back here, how do you get, if you paid Social Security tax on 30 years of substantial earnings, you are not affected. So if we go back to this chart and we say we have 25 years of substantial earnings, what should we do? Well, in 2018, well, as long as we make income, substantial earnings of 24,675, that will reduce this 25 years to 24 years, which will increase our benefit amount because it'll reduce the WEP. And here's the WEP right here. The difference between 25 and 26 years goes from a reduction from 223 to 179. So essentially, what's going on here, my friends? Let me explain the WEP. The most you can lose is $447 a month. That's it. And look, I'm not making light of that, but that's for 20 years or less of substantial earnings. If you get a job just pumping gas for $10 an hour and do that literally do that part-time, you're probably going to make substantial earnings for that year. That will reduce your benefit loss from 447 to 402. And if you do that for 10 years, you'll get your full Social Security benefit check. That's the one time it makes sense to work in a job, which is if you're affected by the WEP in order to increase your benefits by decreasing your windfall elimination provision. It's not hard. But again, just do anything. You don't have to do something you like. Say, look, I work for the Texas retirement system as a teacher. My windfall elimination provisions can be $447 a month less. So what do I need to do? Just go scoop ice cream. My goodness, do anything. Go raise turkeys and sell the eggs and just make sure you're paying Social Security FICA tax on it. And that will reduce your WEP. And so it's not hard to do because substantial earnings are not 100,000 a year, they're 25,000. So as long as you make 25,000 a year, you're going to reduce you'll increase the number of substantial earnings years, which will reduce your WEP, which will increase your benefit, if that makes any sense at all. So confusing as can be, but I hope this helps. But again, that's the one time it would make sense to work another job in which to increase your years of substantial earnings, in which would reduce your WEP, which again would increase your Social Security benefit. All right. Thanks for coming in. As always, you like what you see, subscribe down below, share, thumbs up, comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.